I was under the bed in my own bedroom when I heard my husband call another woman love. 62 years of life, 43 years of marriage, and there I was, crouched on the cold floor, holding my breath while my entire life crumbled over my head. Let me tell you how I got to that place. But first, check if you're already subscribed to our channel. It was August 27th, Albert's birthday. I had planned everything down to the smallest detail. I left early in the morning saying I was going to spend the day at my sister's house, but I actually went to buy the ingredients to make his favorite cake, that chocolate one with strawberry filling that he'd been asking for since we were dating. I spent the whole morning shopping, wanted to decorate the house with red balloons, bought a bottle of the wine he loved so much. I even bought new lingerie, despite being 62 years old, with stretch marks from 3 children. I wanted the night to be special. I came back home around 3 in the afternoon, much earlier than I had told him. The idea was to get ready at my leisure, prepare everything, and when he got home from work at 6, everything would be ready for the surprise. I came in through the kitchen door, left the bags on the table, and went straight to the bedroom to change clothes. That's when I heard the sound of the shower. I found it strange right away. Albert never came home early. Never. In 43 years, that man had always been punctual as a Swiss watch. I thought maybe he wasn't feeling well, or that his boss had let him off early because of his birthday. My first impulse was to run to the bathroom to see if everything was okay, but then I got that silly idea, you know? That idea of a woman in love who still believes in romance after so long. I thought about hiding and surprising him when he came out of the shower, playing a little joke, laughing together, starting the celebration in a fun way. How stupid I was. I hid under the bed. The space was tight, dusty, and my knees hurt against the hard floor. But I was excited, smiling to myself down there like a silly teenager. I kept imagining his surprised face, the tight hug that would come after, maybe even making love right there, spontaneously, like in the old days. The sound of the water stopped. I heard his footsteps leaving the bathroom, crossing the bedroom. And then the phone rang. He answered on the second ring. His voice was different, softer, more affectionate than it had been with me in years. "Love, sorry I'm late. I just got out of the shower." Those words came out of my husband's mouth with a naturalness that left me paralyzed down there. Love. He called someone love. I couldn't process it. My brain refused to understand what my ears were capturing with absolute clarity. No, I couldn't leave earlier. That pain of a wife of mine was home until just now. I only found out later that she'd gone to her sister's house. He laughed, a low, intimate laugh. The kind of laugh you share with someone who knows your secrets. "I'm almost ready, my love. I'll be there in 20 minutes. We'll have dinner at that restaurant you liked. Don't worry. Today is our day. Forget about the rest." Our day. It was his birthday, but it was their day. There I was, hidden like a child, holding a bouquet of feelings that ranged from humiliation to fury. My legs started to tingle from the uncomfortable position, but I couldn't move, couldn't make noise. I had put myself in that ridiculous situation, and now I had to endure it to the end. He kept talking, and each word was a new revelation. "I bought that necklace you wanted. It's here with me. It's going to look beautiful on you." I wanted to throw up. What necklace? With what money? The money I saved on grocery shopping? The money he said we needed to save for retirement? I performed miracles every month to have something left over, cut back on my wants, mended old clothes, and he was buying necklaces for his mistress. "I love you too. See you soon." He hung up. I heard the sound of the cell phone being placed on the dresser, the same place he always left it. His footsteps approached the bed. For 1 second of pure terror, I thought he was going to bend down and see me there. But he only picked up the shoes that were on the side, put them on, got his keys, his wallet, the cologne, the one I had given him last Christmas, sprayed it on, and left the bedroom whistling softly a song I didn't know. The front door closed, the car started, and I remained there, alone, under the bed, in the most agonizing silence I'd ever experienced in my life. I don't know how long I stayed there lying on the cold floor. It could have been 10 minutes or 2 hours. Time had completely lost all meaning. When I finally managed to crawl out, my legs were numb and my whole body ached. But the physical pain was nothing compared to what I felt inside. I sat on the edge of the bed, that same bed where we had slept together for more than 4 decades, where our 3 children were conceived, where I took care of him when he had pneumonia, where we cried together when we lost his father. I looked around the room and everything seemed strange, as if I were seeing that space for the first time. The curtains I had sewn myself, the nightstand we bought on our honeymoon, the wedding portrait on the wall, me at 20, him at 22, both smiling at the camera, promising eternal love. Who were those people? Was I still that girl in the white dress? Was he still that boy with sincere eyes? I got up slowly and went to the living room. The red balloons were still in the bag, the cake ingredients in the kitchen, the bottle of wine in the fridge, the new lingerie still inside the bag. All that preparation, all that care, all that anticipation. For nothing. For absolutely nothing. I grabbed my phone and saw messages from my daughters. "Mom, happy birthday to Dad. We'll come over tomorrow to celebrate." Elizabeth had sent a photo of the grandkids holding a sign that said, "We love you, Grandpa." Mason sent an audio message singing happy birthday off-key, the way he always did to get a laugh out of his dad. My family. Our family. All built on top of what? How many lies? How long had this been going on? I started to review the last few months in my head, the extra meetings at work, the Saturday shifts that never existed before, the business trips that became more frequent, the cell phone that now had a password, something it never had in all these years. The gifts he brought me, coming from guilt that I mistook for affection. I had seen all the signs and chosen to ignore them. Or maybe I hadn't even seen them. Maybe I was so comfortable in my routine, so secure in my marriage, that I had become blind. I sat on the couch and let the tears come. I cried everything I had held back under that bed. I cried for the humiliation, for the betrayal, for the wasted years. I cried for the woman I was and for the woman I would never be again. Because there are things in life that you can't go back to being after you find out. Innocence, trust, that silly certainty that some things are forever. All of that died that afternoon, under the bed, along with the debris of dust and forgotten old socks. When I managed to pull myself together, it was almost 7 at night. He must be at the restaurant now, having dinner with her, giving her the necklace, toasting with wine. Living a parallel life I didn't even imagine existed. I got up, went to the kitchen, grabbed the bottle of wine, and drank a sip straight from the bottle. It was bitter, strong, burned my throat. But I drank it anyway. I spent the night awake, sitting in the darkness of the living room, waiting. He arrived around 11. He came into the house with that casual manner of his, tossed the keys on the sideboard, and started taking off his shoes. When he turned on the light and saw me sitting there, he got a fright. "Honey, what are you doing awake in the dark? I thought you'd stayed at your sister's house." Honey. He called me honey, and the word sounded completely meaningless. "I was waiting for you," I said, with a calmness that contrasted with the storm I felt inside. "I came to give you a birthday surprise. I arrived very early. It was still afternoon." He widened his eyes. I saw the exact moment when panic took over his face, when he did the time calculations in his head. "You were here? What time did you get here?" His voice came out weak, trembling. I lost count of how many lies he was preparing to tell me at that moment. 3 in the afternoon, I replied, looking straight into his eyes. "I arrived right when you were taking your shower." We both fell silent. I didn't need to say anything more. He knew that I knew, and we both knew that nothing would be like before. 43 years don't end in one day, but they die in a single instant. Mine died under a bed, hearing the man I loved call another woman love. Today, 3 years later, I live alone in a small apartment. My children supported me, My grandchildren come visit me every weekend. I learn to live again, to laugh again, to trust again, even if in a different way. But there's one thing I could never do again. I never made chocolate cake with strawberry again, and I never hid to give surprises again. Some surprises we receive when we least expect them, and they change everything forever.